1. You invite opinions you don't need. The moment you tell someone what you're planning to do, they feel entitled to share their opinion. And trust me, they will. Are you sure that's a good idea? That sounds risky. What if it doesn't work? My cousin tried that and failed. You should do it this way instead. Maybe you should wait until you have more experience. Now you have to process all these opinions, deal with their doubts, defend your decision, justify your plan. And here's what happens. Their doubts become your doubts. Their fears become your fears. Their limitations become your limitations. Even if you don't consciously accept their negativity, it seeps in. It plants seeds of doubt. It creates hesitation. It weakens your resolve. You went from feeling certain and excited to feeling uncertain and defensive, all because you shared your plan with someone who projected their own fears onto you. The reality is, most people who give you advice haven't accomplished what you're trying to accomplish. They're not qualified to have an opinion, but you invited that opinion by sharing your plan. Third, sharing your plans creates pressure that paralyzes. Once you've publicly announced your goal, you feel pressure to deliver, and that pressure often leads to paralysis, not performance. You told everyone you're going to lose 30 pounds. Now, every time someone sees you, they're evaluating, judging, watching to see if you're making progress. You feel their eyes on you, their expectations weighing on you, and instead of motivating you, it crushes you. You become afraid to fail publicly, so you either quit before you really start, or you avoid the people you told because you're ashamed you haven't made more progress. The pressure to perform for an audience becomes more stressful than the actual work of achieving the goal. But when you keep your plan secret, no pressure, no eyes watching, no judgment, just you and the work. You're free to experiment, to fail privately, to learn without an audience, to make mistakes without explaining them to people who don't understand. You're working for yourself, not performing for others. And that freedom, that's when real progress happens. Fourth, silence protects your energy. Every conversation about your plan drains energy, energy you could be using to actually execute the plan. Think about how much time and mental energy goes into explaining your vision to someone who doesn't get it, defending your choices to someone who questions them, justifying your timeline to someone who thinks you should move faster or slower. All that energy spent talking could be spent doing. But more than that, when you keep your plans silent, you keep your energy contained, focused, concentrated. You're not dispersing it through countless conversations. You're channeling every ounce of energy into execution, into building, into creating, into making it happen. While everyone else is talking about what they're going to do, you're actually doing it. While they're explaining their vision, you're executing yours. While they're seeking validation, you're making progress. Fifth, working in silence eliminates the need for external validation. When you announce your goals, you become dependent on external validation. You start measuring your progress by other people's reactions instead of your own results. Did they like my post about my goal? Did they comment encouragement? Do they think I'm making progress? You become addicted to the feedback, the likes, the comments, the attention. And when that validation decreases, because people get bored of hearing about your goals, your motivation decreases too. But when you work in silence, you develop internal validation. You measure success by your own standards. You know whether you're making progress regardless of what anyone else thinks. You become self-motivated, self-driven, self-reliant. You don't need anyone to cheer you on. You don't need anyone to believe in you. You don't need anyone's permission or approval. You just work, and you know the truth about your progress, even if no one else does. Sixth, silence creates mystique and power. There's something powerful about transformation that happens in secret. Imagine this. You don't tell anyone you're getting in shape. You just quietly start working out 6 days a week, eating right, being consistent.
3 months pass, 6 months pass. You don't post progress pics, don't talk about your routine, don't announce your transformation. Then one day, people see you, and they can't believe the change. What happened to you? You look completely different. That impact, that shock, that's so much more powerful than if you'd been posting gym selfies and meal prep pics the whole time. The same principle applies to business, career, skills, anything. Someone who quietly builds for 2 years and then launches a successful business creates more impact than someone who talks about building for 2 years and never launches anything. Results revealed after silent work carry weight, authority, credibility. Constant announcements without results carry nothing but empty words. 7th, silence protects you from people who will sabotage you. Not everyone wants to see you succeed. Some people will actively try to sabotage your plans. They'll discourage you, distract you, create drama, introduce doubt, plant negativity. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's unconscious, but it happens. The people closest to you, family, friends, colleagues, are often the ones most threatened by your growth, because your success highlights their stagnation. Your ambition makes them uncomfortable with their complacency.
So they sabotage, subtly, through concern, through advice, through just being realistic. But when you don't tell them your plans, they can't sabotage what they don't know about. You protect your vision from their negativity. You protect your energy from their doubt. You protect your progress from their interference. By the time they realize what you've been working on, it's too late for them to stop you. You've already done it. So here's what you do with your 2026 plans. You keep them to yourself. You write them down. You get crystal clear on exactly what you want to achieve, but you don't announce them. You don't post them on social media. You don't tell your friends and family. You don't make public declarations. You work in private. You execute in silence. You build without broadcasting. Every day, you take action toward your goals, but you do it quietly. No updates, no progress posts, no announcements. You let doubt creep in, you handle it internally. You face challenges, you solve them privately. You make progress, you celebrate silently. You become absolutely obsessed with execution, not announcement, with results, not recognition. And here's what happens. While everyone else is talking about what they're going to do in 2026, you're actually doing it. While they're seeking validation for their plans, you are making real progress on yours. While they're explaining their vision to people who don't care, you are executing your vision without distraction. And then, months into 2026, the results start speaking for themselves. You've lost the weight. You've built the business. You've developed the skill. You've achieved the goal. And people notice, not because you told them, but because the transformation is undeniable. They ask how you did it, when you started, why you didn't tell anyone. And you simply say, I decided to work in silence and let my results make the noise. That's power. That's impact. That's how you actually achieve what you set out to achieve. Now let me address the common objections. But what about accountability? Don't I need to tell people for accountability? No. Real accountability is internal. It's keeping promises to yourself, not performing for others. If you can't stay committed without an audience, you're not really committed. You're just performing. True commitment comes from within, from your desire to become who you're meant to be, not from fear of disappointing people you told. But what about support? Don't I need encouragement? You need action more than you need encouragement. You need discipline more than you need cheerleaders. Besides, the people who truly support you will support your results when they see them. You don't need to recruit supporters before you've accomplished anything. But what about building in public, sharing the journey? There's a difference between sharing lessons after you've learned them and announcing plans before you've executed them. Share the journey after you've traveled it. Share the lessons after you've learned them. Share the transformation after you've transformed. Don't share the plan before you've proven you can execute it. Here's your assignment for 2026. Right now, today, you write down your goals for 2026. Be specific, be ambitious, get clear on exactly what you want to achieve. Then, you close that notebook, you keep those goals private, sacred, secret. You don't tell your family, you don't tell your friends, you don't post on social media, you simply start working, executing, building, creating. Every single day, you take action toward those goals, but you do it quietly. No announcements, no updates, no seeking validation. You just quiet, consistent, powerful execution. And when 2026 ends, when December 31st arrives, you look back at those goals you wrote down in private, and you realize you achieved them, or you made massive progress toward them, not because you talked about them, but because you worked on them, not because you announced them, but because you executed them, not because you sought validation, but because you stayed focused. You worked in silence, and your results made all the noise you needed. That's how you win 2026, not by telling everyone what you're going to do, but by shutting up, working hard, and letting your transformation speak for itself. Keep your plans secret. Work in silence. Let success be your noise. 2026 is yours. Go take it quietly.